Hello and welcome to the Varicent Partner Spotlight. My name is Paul Peters. I'm the Director of Product Marketing. Today we're speaking to Spectrum Technologies with our special guest, Harmonic. I'd like to go through and introduce each of the individuals speaking with us today. First, we're going to be speaking with Anthony Baxter in Finance. Anthony, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Hey, Paul. Anthony Baxter. I have been with Harmonic a little over a year. I provide a wide range of finance support to our services and sales organizations. My team handles things like commissions and forecasting, budget management, decision support. I have been in various roles in finance and operations in high tech in the Bay Area since around 2000. I find Harmonic to be very progressive in how they work and how they think, and very cutting edge in their space. That's a little bit about myself.
Thanks so much. We're also joined by Shaheen Seha. She is a commission analyst. Shaheen, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, good morning. I am a commission analyst. I've been with Harmonic since 2014. I do the monthly processing, the yearly settings, plan settings, logic testing, and report design and input. I've been in the commission world about, 13 years now, so fairly familiar.
Thank you very much. Eugene Wilson is the Senior IT Business Analyst. Eugene, what is your role at Harmonic?
So as you mentioned, I work in the IT organization. I've been at Harmonic for about 4 years now, and I support a variety of applications, one of them being the sales compensation management application that Varicent supplies.
Excellent. We're also joined by Spectrum Technologies. Manish Gupta, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yep, sure. Thank you, Paul. So my name is Manish Gupta. I'm one of the partners here at Spectrum Technologies. I've been here for 10 years. My role is customer success. So I'm responsible for working closely with my team, with my project leads, working with customer management, and making sure that all of our customers are successful and happy.
Excellent. And Faraz Razik, could you tell us about yourself?
Hello, Paul. My name is Faraz Razik. I am the practice lead for Spectrum. All the projects to do with Varicent come across my desk. It's a technical role. I architect. I work with my team to make sure the solution is accurate. It's performing correctly. Results are the way they should be. And I work with the client, making sure that any of the test scenarios, all the final outputs are the way that they should be.
Excellent. Thank you all very much for joining us today. I'd like to change the conversation to learn a little bit more about Harmonic and what they do. I think we picked on volunteers earlier. Anthony, you draw the short straw. Could you tell us a little bit about who is Harmonic and what is it that you do?
Yeah, so Harmonic is a tech company that's located in San Jose, so Silicon Valley, a fairly mature company. They've been around since 1998, publicly traded, for over 20 years. I think currently we've got a little over 1,200 employees, so a fairly decent sized company. On the product side, the company creates video infrastructure products and system solutions. Customer base is worldwide, so we've got customers in virtually every country. The products themselves help our customers to create and deliver video and broadband services to their consumers and their consumer devices. So that's a little bit about what we do. Our company has two segments. We have a video segment and we have a cable segment. So our company's got kind of two unique divisions within Harmonic.
Shaheen, I'm wondering if you tell us what did Harmonic do before Varicent? What were you doing for incentive compensation before you found Varicent, before you found Spectrum?
So it was all a manual process. There were tens and tens of spreadsheets. Everything was in Excel. So before that, it was all a manual process.
So that didn't give you a lot of capability to see any errors, probably not a lot of insights or extra time to do anything besides that. You were the master of spreadsheets, it sounds like.
Well, I'm speaking of from when I joined. We already had Varicent. When they got Varicent in 2010, before that, Harmonic was doing it manually with Excel. I came aboard on 2014, and we had Varicent at that time. We did utilize it, and I'm fairly familiar with it. I came from a different company that I used Varicent, so I know how robust the system can be.
Eugene, can you tell us about how it is that you're supporting a system like this within Harmonic?
Essentially what I do is I provide project management services. So I work with the Spectrum team and with the Varicent team to implement the year-over-year comp plan changes in the system. So that basically goes from, supporting teams in terms of infrastructure. We used to be an on-premise site, but we recently, in 2019, just last year, moved to cloud. But so infrastructure services, project management services, whatever the sales organization needed in order to push out the comp plan is the service provided.
Now, a few years ago, you met our friends here at Spectrum Technology. What was it that you looked to help them help get assistance with in the project? Anthony, were you part of that program?
I was not, but I do have a good grasp on the decision-making process at the time and what the needs were. Just based on conversations we've had, I think primarily it was we have very complex comp plans, and we have a very unique way of running concurrent plans, meaning that we have comp plans that exist for multiple years for our employees. So I think what we were trying to get at the time was an agile tool that would allow us to compensate our team in the way that our business partners and our management team wanted them to be compensated. And we weren't able to find that flexibility with other tools, and certainly, not at the cost range that we were targeting.
Shasheen, there were significant changes to the system, right? There had to be plan changes that went into place. How did that impact your role? What did you have to do, and how did Spectrum help you there?
There was a lot of design work that happened. We completely changed how we calculated our plans at that time when Spectrum did come aboard. So they really did help with presenting a new way of logic, a new way of calculating and presenting the information. They also helped with report design changes, so to make it simpler for our end users to report their earnings or review the earnings, sorry. Where before it was just a lot of a data dump. It's just a lot of information that became confusing for them, so it wasn't easy for them to read. They presented a more clean, simplified version so that the field can look at what they were earning every month and didn't have as many questions. They were pretty happy with it once they rolled it out.
And the time frame of this sounds like it's regular. It's every year. How often do you call on them to assist you with something like this?
That particular change was very big. That was 3 years ago now. So we've stuck with the design that they gave it to us. They presented to us. We stuck with it because it works very well. So all we have to do is yearly we have to just fine tune it when we have minimal changes. They help us fine tune the changes that we integrate. Yearly.
So they were able to establish a good process and core for you, and you can modify that kind of thing on your own now going forward.
Right, with minimal assistance from them. We tell them, I reach out to them a lot. I want to say minimal because I do reach out to them quite a bit. But yeah, the changes that we need are very, they're, in my opinion, they're not as big as that one big huge change we did, because we stuck, like I said, with their structure. So it's very easy to use, and the changes we request for them are minimal now. It really does cover everything we really want to do.
Eugene, when we're thinking about that big change, did you lean on them to help about the model build, about the technology where we had to exchange data between systems? How did Spectrum assist you with that in that engagement model?
Spectrum does a variety of things for us. They did help, build out the model. One of the things I really like about Spectrum is just their knowledge about sales performance management. They bring a wealth of knowledge to the table in terms of just their implementations that they've done, how other companies have done certain things. They bring all of that, just not technical knowledge, but just functional and business knowledge to the table when they do their implementations. And that was very instrumental in helping us to be able to succeed here at Harmonic.
Now, my understanding is that you've moved recently from an on-premise model to a cloud model. Can you tell us what process that was? What happened with that?
Migrating from on-premise to the cloud solution was very straightforward. We worked with the Varicent transition team. They were just very, very helpful, very, very knowledgeable. They did it quickly, and they were very supportive. They walked us through the entire process, told us beforehand how it was going to work, and walked us through the entire process and was with us through every step of the way until we were able to roll out the new system. So I thought that the process was very smooth. The Varicent transition team was very instrumental in making that happen.
Shasheen, this gave you new tools to work with to meet the needs of your sales team. You probably got some new reports out of this, probably a new inquiry process in place, plan document automation, my apologies. What is your thoughts on the change of these processes? Are these tools helping you to get your job done faster, or was there a learning curve that's involved in that?
So some of those functionalities we already had before we moved over. So everything has kind of been the same. We have not used, or I have not used anyway, the new reporting functionality. I saw instruction on it, and I'm very interested to participate in that. I want to sign up for a little bit more of a how-to, because it looks very interesting, and I think I can get a lot of additional reporting that I do offline through Varicent with that new program.
Have you seen an improvement in the way that you can answer any disputes or inquiries coming from the sales team?
Yeah, so it's pretty quick. I mean, using the inquiry button, the inquiry option, it has been very useful. Years back, it was all on email and a lot of manual tracking. This way, it's all in one place. I get notification when I get a inquiry, and I also they get a notification when I've responded. So it's all very quick.
And what is your plan documentation sign off? I know that California has some interesting laws that we have to abide by, and you're based out of California. What is that plan document automation, plan document sign off process like?
So we're using it for one function right now, which is for them to approve their comp plans for the year. That's been pretty good. Again, I know that you mentioned there's other functionalities with the workflow process in order for them to sign off on other documentation. That is something I also want to be able to implement, because it can, we can use that when we do our yearly plan settings. We can instead of having to do it offline, we can actually have it through the system where it goes to the manager sends it to the employee, they sign off on it, are rejected, and they can go back and forth before it comes back to us. So we're not as involved in managing these large spreadsheets. So I'm interested in doing that this coming year.
Do you change your prop plans annually? Is that what I'm understanding? It's an annual plan change?
That is correct.
Yeah. Do you have to do any testing before you can release that out into the sales team? How does that UAT testing work?
Oh yeah. So yes, annually, everything is UAT'd every year. That is between myself and Spectrum. So as I mentioned before, I do touch on them a lot to go through a lot of the logic, a lot of the reporting, and then all the UAT. We do it one-on-one. So it goes very quickly, but they're there at each moment. So it's just, we get it done in each step we get done in one big meeting, because we're back and forth. They're right there with me, getting it tested and signed off on.
So I imagine that Faraz is with you a lot when you're doing these kind of things to help level out the calculations, make sure the commissions, the testing is in place. Faraz, can you tell me your involvement in how you work with clients to achieve the highest level of quality testing?
So some of the things that we do is we make sure we have all our test scenarios in place. And then we actually try and identify the fun things, I would say, which are the exceptions. What is the exception logic we need to go through? And then we literally offline start driving forward towards what those results are. When we transpose that into the system, we have key touch points in the tool itself, key calculations, I should say, that actually have those results in them. So what effectively we do is we would just simply go to those key calculations and say, okay, does this match what you're supposed to be looking at? And those key calculations are also used, for example, if there has to be any kind of traceability, if there's something in there to do with any kind of issues or inquiries, the comp analyst is able to go into that and actually see some of those data points so that they can answer some of the questions that they need from the field also.
When we think about the time frame to do a testing like that, Shashin, what is the time frame? Is that something that takes weeks, months? Does it take a whole year to get to that point of satisfaction? I'm not sure what that is.
So it just depends on the situation. Like I said, the large change we did in 19 was very big. That took about 6 months to do. However, the annual ones that we do going forward, that's just a matter of 2 to 3 months. It's from start to finish. They start the logic changes. We do the UAT to the actual going live. So that's about 3 months. It's a lot shorter.
A lot shorter these days.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Could you tell a little bit about the engagement model that we have with Harmonic? Not everybody understands this managed services model. So if you could tell the audience, how do we engage?
So we do have a managed services model with Spectrum, and one of the things I like about the model is that it's very flexible. The model allows us to get support for the year-over-year component changes that Shashin I talked about earlier. So that's like making all the changes to the calculations, redoing the reports, any new reports that we have to do, and then the rollout of the plan and the plan participants, accepting is everything, right? And then after that, we do get support. It's not like they just come in and finish everything and then leave and we never hear from them again. It's great because throughout the year, anytime we have any questions or other things that we need to have implemented or done, or questions that we have, or problems with the system, Spectrum comes in and really helps us out and saves the day.
That's great. The other thing I think that Spectrum is very good at is the ability to help not just with the technical aspect, but in guiding with the actual compensation plans, designs, to make some suggestions. Anthony, have they come to help you with some of those tweaks or plan changes before we get to the technical steps?
Yeah, I mean, I think as far as partners and vendors I've worked with, they're probably one of the most hands-on that I've had a chance to work with. I view that team somewhat as an extension of Harmonic. At certain times we're working together to meet tight deadlines, and Manish has lended insight, not only around best practices, but also just risk areas that we might have. And so yeah, like I said, I view them fairly truly as as an extension of the company, and definitely very knowledgeable. They've got a lot of other vendors they work with, and so we've been able to use some of the things that they've advised us on and make process changes and updates and things like that.
I'd like to switch gears if it's okay. We've spent a lot of time hearing some great results of these things, but I'm curious if more people aren't interested in learning about Spectrum itself. Manish, could you tell us a little bit about who is Spectrum? What is it that you provide? What are the kind of packages that you offer to clients, like our good friends at Harmonic?
Perfect. Thank you, Paul, and thank you, Harmonic team, for all the good words. Thanks for that. So Spectrum is a Silicon Valley consulting company. We are a niche provider of all services related to SPM, Sales Performance Management. 10 years ago, when we started the company, the goal was to help the clients deploy SPM tools, SPM technologies. And even after being in business for 10 years and having done 200 plus projects, our goal continues to be helping clients with SPM. So 100% of our revenue comes from helping clients with the sales performance management, technology implementation, plan design services, and ongoing, managed services, improvements, and all that. The entire team is very focused about what we do. We have been around for 10 years, founded in 2010, and we have been a Varicent partner for 7-8 years now. I think our partnership goes back to 2013 or maybe 2012. We have grown a lot. We are about 75 plus people now. Offices here in Sunnyvale, Boston, Seattle, and also an offshore development center in Mumbai. All we do is SPM, and as a customer, you might be wondering why is it so important to pick a partner who does nothing but SPM. And to that I say, SPM is hard. Sales performance management is not an easy to solve problem. It touches HR, it touches finance, it touches people pay, it touches technology, it touches maybe 3 or 4 IT systems in the companies, ERP, CRM, HR, payroll, all kind of systems. So doing any SPM project or doing any SPM automation work in the company is hard. And hence it is very important for the team that is doing the implementation to know not just the technology piece of it, but also the domain of it. Where are the landmines or what can go wrong? And as Sachin talked about it a little bit, we kind of work very passionately with our clients in understanding what their needs are, rather than just being an order taker and ask the customer what do you want and quickly go into the tool and configure it and hand it over and move on to the next project. We try to make our customers successful by offering not just technology services, but also domain expertise. And for SPM, it is really, really important to have a combination of both for the customers to be successful with that.
Faraz, you've been working in this space for some time now. What is it that brings your passion to this space in helping customers?
Paul, I've been doing this since about 2003. I've been working with Spectrum and since it was a partner with Varicent. I think with all the technology that I've learned, the most interesting thing is that we can bring kind of the domain expertise and really guide the client. I really have fun on the business side, working with the client, understand, and really just making sure that their numbers are coming through correctly. It's something that is different for every client, so that it's not a one size fits all. So it's not a case of, oh, I'm doing the same thing every day. Every client has unique challenges and issues that they have to go through, and it's just the constant learning that I have to do also in being able to keep up with that. And I think that's fundamentally one of the things that I find most interesting, is that I am still learning.
If there are people out there in the marketplace who have trouble with sales performance, incentive compensation, how do they get a hold of you, and what are the first few steps that you might take them through to help?
Sure. So we'll share our email ID and the phone number towards the end of this. You can always go to our website, SpectrumTek.com, SpectrumTek.com. You'll find the contact information for our salespeople and myself on the website. So I look forward to connecting with anybody who is having an SPM problem. Coming to how do we help? As I was saying before, and Rose alluded to it, it's a domain that we are very, very passionate about, right? So when somebody calls us and say, hey, our pages are not happy because they're not able to understand the reports, or the calc time is running too much, whatever the problem may be, we go through our discovery phase, a 1 hour, 2 hour discovery phase where our business analysts, our technical experts all get together, we set up a call, and we go through the entire landscape, doesn't matter what technology they use, to understand where the pain points are. And once we understand the pain points, then that's when we start kind of figuring out what business model, what engagement model will make sense for the customer. Because some customers already have a Varicent tool, it's just that the calc is running slow. And in that case, we'll say, okay, just let's create a 100-hour statement of work and we'll look into it. In fact, we have a utility, a proprietary utility that we built, I think 4 or 5 years ago, primarily for that purpose. We call it Varicent Health Check Utility, for lack of a better word. And it's a great utility for us to document the entire implementation and identify the areas of the system that need tuning and not performing very well. So we come in with that differentiating factor, and if the customer is complaining about the performance, boom, within a matter of day or two, we'll have a good detailed report that talks about what can be causing the problem and how to go about it.
What do you think it is that sets Spectrum apart as a vendor?
Spectrum brings a lot of knowledge to the table about sales performance management. They've been in the business for several years now, and they get in and they know your processes. They come in and they want to learn your processes, they master your processes, and they can just bring a lot of information to the table. I think what sets them apart from other organizations is the fact that they want to be there. They're totally customer focused. They want you to be successful, and they definitely, at least in my experience with them, go out of their way to make sure that your organization is successful.
They just have such a great support system. Anytime I have a question, I can either email someone or pick up the phone, and they're very responsive. There's just sometimes I need a sanity check. I'm working on something, I can't seem to see through it, and I pick up the phone and I talk to someone on the Spectrum team, and this is what it is. They look at it from a different point of view, and they help me see what I needed to see. So very supportive. They've always just, if I have something that I want done or that I need to figure out in regards to the system, just very knowledgeable and help me get to what I need, and always there, just always available. If it's not Manish, it's someone else on his team. So
you're important. I get that sense that Harmonic is important. They're a important customer. They're not just some one of thousands of customers that they have, but you feel like that you're important to them, and they make you feel like you're important to them because they're totally invested in your success. Just to kind of piggyback on what Shasheen was saying, they're totally invested in your success, and you just feel that that they care, and they bring that when they engage with us and the various implementations and things that we do with them.
I don't recall us having to ever, submit tickets and wait in a queue to get service, to get serviced. Like I said, I feel like they're kind of an extension of our company, and when we need something, we can get someone on the phone, pretty much any time of the day. So a very accessible support model that definitely helps us when we're under deadlines.
I'd like to thank you all for joining us today. Especially, I'd like to thank our customers at Harmonic, Anthony, Shasheen, Eugene. Thank you very much for talking with us today. I'd like to thank our partners, Manish and Faraj, as well. If you've got additional questions or concerns, you can reach out to this partners directly on their website, which is listed in their write-up on our website. Thank you so much. Have a great day.